Guess who's back? Back again. This bitch is back. Finally. What's happening, everyone? I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Those of you that love makeup tutorials. Sorry, but not really sorry. I'm trying not to apologize for taking breaks when needed. You know when someone says, never turn something that you love into a job because eventually you won't like it anymore? That is what happened with makeup and makeup tutorials. Not that I didn't like it. I didn't like the process of filming it for YouTube. It was such a lengthy process. It felt so produced, so staged, and when I started vlogging again, I was like, I just wanted to feel like my vlogs. This is how I would get ready in my beauty room. To you guys, it probably just looks like another makeup tutorial, but for me, I feel so much more comfortable. So I'm back. And another thing as well that I needed to kind of like reevaluate was how to make makeup tutorials exciting again. It's a punch to all the efforts that go into doing these videos when someone says that makeup looks like all your other makeup looks. So I was trying to think of ways to still do makeup tutorials to satisfy that need for a makeup tutorial and share my love for makeup and my techniques and advice, but also do sort of like a review of like what's new, what's good, what's worth buying, even like the old, and having it be revamped or like bringing it back to the spotlight. I think is so important now because you want to spend your money wisely and you want to spend it on good products, whether it's drugstore or high-end. So you'll still get a makeup tutorial, but along with that, you'll get to see what's new and exciting and see me create a look from it. Anyway, let's do this. The first thing I tried last week and have actually been trying for about a month now is the Naturium Plant Ceramide Rich Moisture Cream. This is Susan Yara's skincare brand. Very affordable, available at Target. That's how I stumbled upon the moisturizer, even though I have a variety of her other products. And it's so good, fragrance-free, so good underneath makeup, for day and night wear. It's just a beautiful moisturizer. And I still haven't learned to not film on Tuesdays, trash day. It cost me, I believe it was like $28, which is really affordable compared to some other moisturizers out there. I've tried some other higher end ones and I keep going back to this one. I'm also gonna do steps and use products that aren't new, that I haven't, recently tried. So I'm gonna prep my eyes with the NARS Skin. I'm just showing you a blank side. The NARS Skin Total Replenishing Eye Cream, still a fave. I have been dying to showcase this foundation in a YouTube video. I talk about it all the time on Instagram, so if you aren't, you right there. If you aren't following me on Instagram, give me a follow. This foundation, Soft Matte Complete, I wear the shade Medium 3 Stromboli, makes it look like I've put a filter on my skin. It is very, very full coverage. You don't need a lot. It is extremely matte. I will warn you about that. So it comes with a pro and a con. A pro is that it sets itself, you don't have to use a ton of powder, it really lasts. The con is that you have to work a little quicker than normal, work in sections, because it will start to dry down and set and then it's no longer blendable. But however, I think it is so worth it, especially if you are experiencing some breakouts, redness. It covers everything. I'll actually do one side and then do the other. I like to work it in with my fingers first, and I do prefer to blend it out with a brush because it shears it out and just further works it in. I really work it into that area right here in the nose. And did you see how it covered those blemishes right there on my chin? Up here as well. And then I'm gonna take my Hourglass foundation brush and buff this out. And I also like this foundation on my eyelids because it's so matte and long wearing and full coverage. It's great to prep the eyes for eyeshadow. Does it not look like this side has a filter? See how there's a bit of a dewiness to it in person? It's like the perfect satin sheen that skin would naturally have on its own. I'm just so amazed. Like when I first got it, I was like, oh, it's not gonna be for me, it's too matte. But I can't stop wearing it. All NARS products apply best with your fingers, or any foundation when you just want a skin-like finish. I think fingers is the best way to first apply, and then go in with your preferred method. Brush, sponge, stick with your fingers. But I really like the way it warms up the foundation. And then if I still need a little more coverage, I'll just dot the foundation wherever I need coverage, almost like you would a concealer, and then just pat it in with the brush. Can I zoom you guys on in? Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at that coverage. it looks so flawless. Another product I've been dying to share with all of you, the Putty Blushes from e.l.f. I had to Google it because e.l.f. is known for being very affordable. I was like, how much is this blush? Because it's so incredible. It has to, like, the price point is just it's gonna blow my mind. $6 for a beautiful cream blush, and they come in a variety of colors. They have a really great shade range. Because I'm gonna use a cream blush, I'm also gonna use a cream bronzer. So I'm gonna use my standard, absolute favorite, current ride or die. I live for this bronzer. It's so good. Fenty cream bronzer, Cheeks Out. It's called the Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer 03 Macchiato. That's the color I use. Look at this. If this doesn't tell you that I love this freaking product, I don't know what does. If I wanted to use a powder bronzer, I would have to powder first, then bronze, but then I'd be powdered, so it'd be hard to go in with the blush if I powder everything down, especially if you like to bake. So it's easier just to use a cream blush and a cream bronzer. So when my product is already this low, I like to take my little spatula, scoop out the bronzer, put it on the back of my hand, warm it up just a bit with my fingers. Okay, so I've worn this foundation so many times, and I've come to realize that because it sets itself and doesn't like to move, doing a pressing motion is gonna be your best bet afterwards when adding additional color to your skin. I like to use a sponge. This is the Ofra sponge, still my favorite, more so than Beauty Blender. I'll pat everything else in, so whatever is left over my finger from warming it up, I'll just press like so, which is actually great for the hollows of the cheeks because you can really feel where you're applying it. I'll take the rest off with the sponge from my finger, and then I'll little by little dip into the bronzer on the back of my hand. And you wanna make sure that your sponge is really saturated like that. Drag off the excess as you're blending it into the sponge. But the reason you wanna make sure it's evenly distributed onto the sponge is because if not, you'll get like little splotches that are kind of random. And see how beautiful that looks when you just press it on over top of the foundation. I seriously wish you guys could see the skin like in a macro lens. I don't have a macro lens for this camera. And then I'll just keep building on it until I've used up all the bronzer on my hands so that none goes to waste. And then when adding it to the sides of my nose, I love this little Pat McGrath. I think it was the concealer brush from when the concealers launched, but it's the perfect shape to do this. It just fits so perfectly into this little pocket. I'm gonna grab a small little kabuki brush and just do like a patting motion to blend it in over top of that NARS foundation. Wow, you know what I just realized? I went into bronzing and contouring and haven't even added a concealer to my face. I was like, why doesn't this area look as highlighted as it normally does? This is another product that I have been dying to share with all of you because when I put it on my skin, I could not stop raving about it. It just looks like skin, amazing coverage. It is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Concealer. It's meant to have caffeine in it, which is why it's called Extra Shot, like an extra shot of espresso. And I wear shade 180. I'm gonna take a little off on the back of my hand and then use a concealer brush to be more precise since I've already added bronzer and I don't wanna be too sloppy with my concealer application. Typically, I wouldn't use a concealer like this on the face. Usually these are more so like brightening for underneath the eyes, but a lot of concealers now have gone more so the matte direction. And this one I would say is like the equivalent of the NARS Soft Matte. Hi Boomer, what's up? This one I would say is the equivalent of the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation finish, where it's like a natural matte, but still looks like fresh and radiant. So I will use this as a face concealer to spot conceal. For that, I use shade 280. And then when I'm trying to brighten and highlight, I use shade 180. So I'm gonna use this tiny little lip brush, a 301 from LH Cosmetics, to try and keep it precise. I also tried doing that concealer technique that I've been seeing a lot of people do where they add it over here, and I didn't like the way it looked on me. It looked too heavy. Like, I like this area to just be filled with highlighter and look really glowy, and for me it just looked too, like, I don't know, like I had too much concealer, like too much coverage in that area. And I can still get that effect with this sort of application and get more of a sheer finish by blending in that direction. Marc Jacobs has like a really specific like coconut smell to their products. I just really love it. It's like very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of when I went to New York Fashion Week with them. And I almost like the way it looks when you continue using the same sponge for your bronzer, your foundation, because it all kind of just like blends together and creates like a really seamless look on the skin. So when I blend out my concealer, I'll drag it up in this direction and keep it nice and angled. And then I'm just using that same little kabuki brush to fine tune the edges where the concealer meets the bronzer. And still doing little tapping motions versus just like blending, because again, I feel like it might disrupt the NARS foundation. Time for the blush. I'm really excited to show this to all of you because for $6 and with cream blushes being so popular right now, it's so good. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the cream bronzer. So I'm gonna scoop out a little bit with that little spatula, warm it up. I just love warming up face product. I think it just ends up looking far more natural than going straight from dry in the pot to your face. Just be mindful that you don't scoop out so much and waste it, because I'm definitely not gonna use all this blush. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm gonna saturate the bottom of the sponge again. The only complaint I have about these blushes is that the color isn't included on here anywhere. So I have no idea what color this is, and there's so many shades that look the same online, but it's a really beautiful coral. I'm also really light with the way I'm patting things on my skin to get a really nice soft finish. And then if you get a harsh line, keep that little kabuki brush if you have one and just pat in the edges to soften it up. My trick recently also, I'm actually gonna use a brush for the eyes, is to apply my blush, my cream blush or regular blush, into this area. It's my favorite technique for a quick look because the blush ends up looking like an eyeshadow. This Persona brush is perfect. This is the highlight and blush brush. Very versatile, you can use it for so many things. I'm gonna use the smaller end to do that blush technique in the crease. So without overthinking it, I'm just gonna add the blush right here and then just diffusing it out towards the hairline like that. And look at that. Like I could literally just add like brow mascara, lip, and run out the door. I could also use this to diffuse out the edge now that I think about it. Look at this skin. I like cream blushes that are more so on the matte side. Anything that is really dewy, it's not that I don't like it. It is so beautiful on the skin, but then I feel a little sticky all day, and when I powder it, it doesn't powder down like you think it would. I'm gonna take this Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder and then the larger side of this brush and just lightly dust the areas where I don't wanna be shiny or where I crease. I'm definitely gonna do a little bit of a baby bake underneath my eyes because my eyes crease no matter what. So I'm powdering mainly on the center of the face. And lately I haven't been powdering this area because I like to go in pretty heavy with a highlight, and it always looks so much more natural and pretty when there's no powder there. So I'm just blending out the excess creasing, and then with that powder, I'm just gonna press it into this area, but not doing like a full-on bake in this whole section, just right here where I crease. Maybe around the nose as well. I should have blended out this creasing as well. So I'm just gonna blend this out as much as I can. That's why I wanna take the powder off the brush so I'm not blending powder into creases because it will lock the creasing into place. And then I'm gonna take that same powder and just work it into the areas of the eye that crease. Another product I've been wanting to tell you about that I have definitely been trying a lot or using a lot in the past week is the Dominque Cosmetics Transition Palette, because I think it's such a great palette for everyday use. And it's meant to be for eyes and face. Hence why the pans are so large so that you could dip a face brush into them. I've really been loving the color Toffee for every single day. I used to be this kind of girl, but now I'm more so like this kind of girl. I'm taking a Smith 232 and I'm gonna work it into the crease. Just keep building on it and see how the blush creates this beautiful peachiness to the look that otherwise wouldn't be there. A little in here, it just creates this really cool dimension to the look. And then lower lash line. Ooh, and I've actually been meaning to tell you about these brushes. Definitely an investment, but so worth it and so good. They are by a brand called RÈPHER. I believe that's how you say it. Brand new. They are the softest brushes that have ever touched my face. They gave me a couple of, like a little set of 2 eye brushes. This is the 01, very versatile. The 02, which is more of like a shadow packing brush where it's more so on the flat side. I'm definitely gonna use 05 in just a bit to add a bit of a shimmery bronzer. And then another favorite is the number 22 because of just how fluffy it is. I'm gonna use the 01 to just further blend out this shadow. And that's gonna be it for shadow and color, so I can dust off this excess powder. And then I always take my excess powder from underneath my eyes and just diffuse and blend everything else out. Before I highlight, I'm gonna mist myself. Yes, I'm gonna get a very light mist, not like the full thing yet. Goes in with like multiple sprays. I put in an order with VIEVE, Jamie Genevieve's makeup brand. I knew the nude lip would be so good because anytime I've seen her, hung out with her, not anytime recently or in the past year because of you know what, I always compliment her on her nude lip, and every time she has the perfect shade of nude. So what I bought from her was the, what is this called? Nova Glow highlighter. I got the shades Bijou and Holy Chic. I saw these two. Do they not look super similar? In the description, this one was more gold, this one's more beige. But in the end, I ended up loving Holy Chic for a more natural look. Here are the two next to each other as swatches. Bijou I would use if I wanted more of like a ethereal sort of look, but Holy Chic looks really natural. So I'm gonna use Holy Chic as my highlight. Add it to this little pocket where I didn't powder. A good highlight to me is when it blends into your skin, even if it is extremely glowy and shimmery. So it's all about finding the right tone of highlighter versus just something that is uber glowy, because sometimes uber glowy doesn't look natural. I want to keep this matte and not shimmery because I like the effect it gives the eyes. This is where I'll take the large fluffy brush and just kind of lightly blend. Still doing more so like little patting motions. What did I want to use next? Oh, shimmery bronzer. Nothing new here, just Hourglass Radiant Bronze Light. I've been using this for forever. I'm gonna use the 05 brush from RÈPHER. I mentioned this last year, but instead of highlighting up here, I've been using shimmery bronzers to just kind of sprinkle onto this area and then also bring it in towards the shadow and the highlight. And it just gives like a really nice overall blended look, but not into the hollows because you want the hollows of the cheeks to still be matte. And I'm gonna mist one more time. The final spray before I'm almost done. I usually go pretty hard, but I always make sure to have my fan with me so that it doesn't do the opposite and ruin my makeup. It's the final countdown. Oh, what is that TikTok? It's the final brain cell. I'm gonna do my brows real quick, nothing new here. Benefit Gimme Brow, shade 4.5. I have not been into brow pencils. They have just been looking like a little much on my brows. I did want to place an order with Glossier. I used to use Boy Brow and then just completely forgot about it. And I want to try Boy Brow in clear and then Brow Flick in the tone of my eyebrow hairs. So many of you are gonna be excited about this one. Sky High Mascara from Maybelline. I actually tried this on live during a live session on Instagram because I wanted everyone to experience it live with no edits and see how many coats it actually takes to get it to look like in all those viral videos on TikTok. I bought it off Ulta.com. They were having a buy one, get one half off sale. And honestly, for the price point, and the quality, it is such a steal in comparison to higher end mascaras. I think it performs like a high-end mascara. Some people have issues with how difficult it is to remove. Honestly, if I use Green Clean from Pharmacy and really be mindful of the lashes and massage the lashes gently, it does come off easily. I haven't had an issue. I used the waterproof. I'm gonna use waterproof today also because when my makeup is a little more like subtle and soft, I don't like my mascara and my lashes to look intense. I have used Blackest Black Original and to its full intensity. So we're gonna use Brown Black. I really love the brush on this. I'm more so a like fluffy blush. I'm more so a fluffy brush kind of person. For example, I would compare this to IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, which is in my top 5 mascaras, along with Monsieur Big, Velvet Noir from Marc Jacobs, Voluminous by L'Oreal, the Pat McGrath. But the brush, going back to the brush, I would say it's comparable to IT Cosmetics in size. The only difference is that this is more so those plastic bristles, whereas IT Cosmetics Superhero is like the fluffy bristles. But I don't mind it when it's narrow like this and it works. And because it's brown, black, and waterproof, I cannot speak. I'm also gonna use it on my lower lashes. Okay, I'm gonna remove the lip or the foundation off my lips, and then I'm gonna use that VIEVE nude lip I mentioned is so good. The lip liner is a Velvet Sands, and then the lip color, which you know it's gonna be good when the product is named after the brand, it's the lipstick in the shade VIEVE. I feel like I'm the kind of person that can pull off like a really dark brown lip liner, even though I love it. Like I love looking like a cholita. It's my favorite. Like I say that all with complete respect. But now if I go too dark or like a true chocolate, it doesn't blend in with a nude lip. So I like it to be more so on the softer side, and this is the perfect tone, especially with a nude lip like VIEVE. So I actually just add it to the middle, and then I'll take my finger and soften it out. And then once I have it on there pretty good, I'll add a little more lip liner just to blend it in. Such a good nude. And I feel like I could also add a little bit of this Persona Meditate E-Balm. So it's like tinted lip balm, but this color is really beautiful, great for every day. And that's it. That is everything I tried this past week. I'm gonna shut up now because I feel like this video has been quite lengthy. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, share it, hit that notification bell because YouTube algorithm sucks these days. So does the Instagram algorithm, so help your girl out. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.